new year is here, and for many of us, this is the moment we decide this year everything is going to change. We start talking about growth, we start talking about becoming better versions of ourselves. So naturally, vision boards come back into the conversation. However, for a lot of people, this time of the year also comes with quite a bit of overwhelm. When you look back at the past year and realize you didn't quite become the person you promised yourself you would. Maybe you made a vision board last year. You felt inspired for a moment, and then life happened. You forgot about it. Or maybe you kept looking at it, but nothing really changed. So now you're here again, wondering what you're actually supposed to put in your vision board. Should it be images of the life you want a year from now, the habits you want to build, the experiences you want to live, the material things you want to own, or the version of yourself you want to become? It's a lot to consider. And if you are someone who tends towards perfectionism, that overwhelm will turn this into avoidance. You still make the board, but you're no longer intentional with it. It looks good, it feels aesthetic, but it stops serving the purpose that it should be serving. So in this video, I want to slow down and look at vision boards properly from a psychological and scientific perspective. I don't want to teach you how to create a vision board that looks nice, but one that actually works, one that will actually lead you to live that life you want in 2026. And to start things off, to actually understand how to build a vision board properly, we first need to understand why the mind needs one at all. And the reason is the brain is fundamentally goal-directed, which means that it doesn't move forward toward vague intentions. It moves towards a clear reference point. If you go into your car and tell yourself, for example, I just want to end up somewhere better, you will not get anywhere. You will take random turns, you will circle familiar streets, for example, and you will often end up where you started. But the moment you enter that specific destination into your GPS, the system will recalculate the routes. It will adjust it in real time, and it will correct itself when you take a wrong turn, because it knows where you're going. So your brain works in a similar way. And neuroscience shows that you are constantly predicting what comes next. It creates internal models of the future and aligns your current behavior to reduce uncertainty. So when you don't have a clear internal image of where you're going, your brain will naturally default to its familiar ways, which is usually your past. This is where a lot of the time that feeling of being stuck comes from. It's not because you lack ability or skills, but rather you lack that sense of direction. And when you have some type of imagery or visual, you give your brain something to move towards. And this is great, knowing all of this is great, but what actually happens in your brain, you are activating the areas responsible for planning, for motivation and attention, which is extremely important. At a neurological level, once your brain has a picture of a future it recognizes, it starts filtering information differently. You start noticing different opportunities, you make different choices because your attention has shifted. And this is the problem vision boards are meant to solve. If we look at it from a problem-solving perspective, when people want to change their lives, they struggle with three things: lack of direction, lack of identity, and lack of belief. Without direction, your energy will get scattered. You start trying many things, but nothing will feel right. So a properly used vision board will give your mind a central reference point, something you can base your decisions on. The second thing giving vision boards power is identity. Psychology shows that behavior follows your identity. So when you repeatedly choose to expose yourself to images that represent who you are becoming, you reinforce that new self-concept. Over time, your actions will begin aligning with that identity naturally. Thirdly, belief. The brain struggles to move towards a future that emotionally doesn't feel possible. And when something feels unfamiliar or unrealistic, the nervous system treats it as unsafe. So vision boards help bridge that gap between desire and belief by making the future feel familiar. And naturally, when something feels familiar, your brain will stop resisting it and it will naturally move towards it. So you may ask, if vision boards are meant to do all this, why haven't they worked in the past? And the thing is, over time, vision boards have become something aesthetic to look at rather than something intentional. They have turned into curated colleges, catalogs of things people want to attract, experience, or collect in order to finally feel like the person they want to be. But the thing with this approach is that it is backwards. You don't become someone by collecting the symbols of their life. You become someone first, and then those things will naturally follow. Because vision boards are not meant to tell you what it is you have to collect, but instead they are meant to inspire you and serve as a guide for who you have to be. Another thing why vision boards may have failed in the past is because they started feeling overwhelming. Most vision boards fail because they lack clarity or a hierarchy. Like what we were talking about at the beginning of this video, people include too many things, too many pictures without deciding what those images actually represent. Is this about habits, about experiences, about material success? When everything is included, nothing is prioritized. The mind doesn't know what to organize around. There's often no time frame either, so people don't know whether one image is meant to represent the next few months or the next year. So if we create a vision board for the next year, there is no sense of urgency because we have a whole year to achieve all of this, so we don't actually start taking action. Another reason why vision boards might often create a sense of anxiety instead of inspiration is that when there is a large gap between your current self and your future self being displayed, the brain experiences cognitive dissonance. The images don't feel inspiring, they feel confronting. The nervous system starts interpreting them as evidence that you are not enough, that you are behind. So this brings us to the real purpose of vision boards. And once again, a vision board is not meant to collect goals or outcomes. It is meant to train your identity. Its job is to help your mind recognize that version of you that naturally lives that life. So if you are creating your own vision board, the first thing you should focus on is simplicity. Instead of overwhelming yourself with dozens of images, you should choose a small number, around 6. And the whole purpose of this is that you are able to know what each image represents, and also to evoke a clear emotion from you. And remember that these images are not meant to be impressive, they are for you. They are meant to help you feel embodied in that version of yourself you are becoming. And I think the main difference between an effective vision board and a useless one is how much they help you embody that version of you. If you can look at a vision board and emotionally recognize yourself in it, it will work. Remember that the brain naturally gravitates to what feels familiar and safe. One of the most effective ways you could create this sense of familiarity in your vision board is to choose images where people resemble you. Physically, contextually, where they are located, maybe the color of the hair of the person in the picture. When you see someone who looks like you, who has already achieved what you want, when the brain can see someone who looks like you living that reality, it removes the subconscious barrier that keeps telling you, this is not me, this is not for me, I'm never going to achieve that. And instead of admiring someone else's life in the picture, you begin to imagine this reality as if it was you. You begin to recognize yourself in it. And that recognition is what will allow your identity to shift. I don't want to overcomplicate this video and give you a long list of steps to follow when creating your vision board because it shouldn't be complex. It shouldn't be a way of procrastinating on actually doing what you need to do. It should be simple and quick, and most of all, it should be clear. You should be able to understand and recognize what each picture means to you. Another piece of advice I'm going to give you is that you could place this vision board on your phone wallpaper somewhere where you can see it. And remind yourself of what it is that you need to be doing every day in order to achieve these things. How can you know if your vision board is actually working? You'll know your vision board is actually working when it feels clarifying instead of overwhelming. An aligned vision board will not make you feel behind. It will make you feel focused. When you have this type of vision board, it will reinforce who you are becoming. And I guarantee you that if you follow these steps, you will become the person you want to be in 2026 and live the life you want to live. I hope this video helps. And if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I will see you in my next video.